Please be sure you have made backup copies of all your important files before trying any procedures demonstrated in this video. This quick study video is designed to be watched away from the computer, so for now just sit back and watch the video. Later at the computer you may use the included keystroke sheet to help you remember the commands. Excel Advanced. We assume you've acquired basic and intermediate skills in Excel. If not, we advise you to watch the Excel Intermediate video first. This video will work with versions 5 and 7. We'll first show you how to do the steps in version 5. And if there are any differences, we'll then show you how to do the same thing in version 7. In this video, we'll show how to perform document linking, how to embed objects, how to import and export files, how to use the auto-formatting feature, how to use styles, how to create your own slideshows, how to import text as a spreadsheet, how to use the graphics tools, how to use advanced charting features, how to create custom toolbars. First, we'll show how to establish a link between an Excel file and a Microsoft Word file. We have an Excel spreadsheet here on the screen, and we'd like to establish a link between it and a file in Microsoft Word. Using the mouse, we'll click on the area where we want the object or information to be placed from Microsoft Word. This will become the upper left-hand corner of the area where the item will be pasted. Then we use the Alt and Tab keys to switch from Excel to Word. Hold down Alt and press Tab. When Microsoft Word appears, release the Alt key. Now we're in Microsoft Word. The document from which we want to take our text is here on the screen. Let's select the text using the mouse by clicking and dragging the mouse. Then click on Edit and then Copy. We're still in Microsoft Word. Now this item has been copied to the clipboard and we need to switch back to Microsoft Excel. Hold down the Alt key and press Tab. When you see Excel, release the Alt key. Now we're back in Excel. Next, we go to the Edit menu. Click on Edit and click on Paste Special. This opens the Paste Special dialog box. In this box, the object that we want to paste has been identified as a Microsoft Word 6.0 document object. We not only want to paste this object into the document, but also create a link. So we click on Paste Link, and then click OK. Now the text that we selected in Microsoft Word has been pasted in to Microsoft Excel. Also, we've created a link between the two files. Anytime we make a change in Word, the change will be reflected here in Excel. For instance, if we realize that we've misspelled a person's name and we change it in Microsoft Word, the change happens automatically in Excel. Of course, you could do the same thing in the opposite direction. You may take an Excel spreadsheet and link it to a Word document. Select the area we'd like to link to the Word document. Click Edit and click Copy. Then switch to Microsoft Word. Place the cursor where you want the information to be pasted. Then click Edit and Paste Special. In the Paste Special box, we choose Paste Link and click on Excel 5.0 Worksheet. Then click OK. The spreadsheet then is pasted into the Word document, and a link exists now between it and the Excel file. When numbers are changed in the Excel spreadsheet, the document will be changed here in Microsoft Word. These changes also happen automatically. Next, we'll show how to embed objects from other programs into Excel. This is similar to linking, except that no link is created between the two documents. First, after you've copied the item in the other program, then click Edit and choose Paste Special here in Excel. And in the Paste Special box, we just choose Paste and click OK. This brings in the object or text just as it did before, except no link is created between the two documents. In either case, with linking or with embedding, the object is considered a miniature Word document that is embedded in an Excel spreadsheet. As you can see here in the formula bar, it says Embed Word Document 6. It's a Word version 6 document embedded within this spreadsheet. That means that if we want to edit this information, all we have to do is double-click here, clicking twice rapidly with the left mouse button. Now we've opened a miniature version of Microsoft Word within the Excel program. Notice the rulers are here in the window with the text, as we would have in Microsoft Word. And at the top, instead of the normal Excel menus and toolbars, we have the Microsoft Word menus and toolbars. Notice here in the Edit menu, Find and Replace. This is a Microsoft Word menu. Likewise with the other menus. The only difference is that the Window menu is still an Excel menu, and the File menu is also still an Excel menu. The rest are all Microsoft Word menus. So you can edit this just as if you were in Microsoft Word without actually switching back to Microsoft Word. That's the difference between an embedded object or a linked object and something that you just copy and paste. If we had chosen Paste from the Edit menu instead of Paste Special, the item would just become part of the Excel spreadsheet. But using Paste Special creates this special embedded object, and it's considered a document from the other program. When you double-click to edit the document, you get a miniature version of the other program opened in Excel. When you're finished, you click anywhere outside of the area, and it returns to its normal appearance. And now the Excel menus and toolbars are restored. Another way to embed or even link an object without having to leave Excel and copy the other item and then bring it back in is to decide first where you want to place the object. Then click Insert, and down at the bottom of the menu, click on Object. In the Object dialog box, select the type of object you want to insert. Let's choose Microsoft Word 6.0 Picture by clicking on it and clicking OK. Now, inside of our box or frame, we have the Microsoft Word rulers, as we did before. And above, we have the menus from Word and the toolbars from Word also. And we can insert a picture just as we would in Microsoft Word. Click Insert, and then click on Picture. In the Insert Picture dialog box, let's choose a picture by clicking and clicking OK. Now the butterfly picture is placed in this area. If we click anywhere outside of this Microsoft Word area, we go back to Excel. We have an embedded Microsoft Word picture in our Excel spreadsheet. Notice that when it's selected, we look back up to the formula bar, it says Embed Word Picture 6. We have an embedded Microsoft Word picture. And again, we can edit this by double-clicking anywhere in this area, clicking twice rapidly with the left mouse button. This brings back the Microsoft Word miniature version running within Excel. And again at the top we have the Microsoft Word menus and toolbars. Next, we'll show how to import a file created in another spreadsheet program. To do this, we click on File and then Open. In the Open dialog box, we locate the file that we want to import into Excel. We want a file that's in this directory. But currently all it's showing are Excel files. We know there are other types of files in here. From this list, choose All Files. This will display all of the files in the directory. Now let's choose this file, which was created in Lotus 123 version 3. Click on it, and then click OK. You can also double-click. Then automatically the Lotus 123 file is opened in Microsoft Excel. We can treat it now as an Excel file, and when we save it, we have the choice of saving it as an Excel file or saving it again as a Lotus 123 file. In version 7, you can perform the same steps, but the Open dialog box looks a little different. To list all of the files in the directory, click on this arrow and select All Files. This gives a list of all the spreadsheets saved in other programs that can be opened in Excel. Click on the file you want and click on Open. This document that used to be in Lotus for Windows is now in Excel. To export a file, in other words, to save an Excel spreadsheet in the format of a different kind of spreadsheet program, we choose File and then click Save As. In the Save As dialog box, we navigate our way to the directory where we'd like to save the file. Let's choose this Lotus 123 directory. Now, in the list at the bottom, we need to choose the type of file we want to save it as. Scroll down through the list. Let's choose Lotus 123 WK1 format. Then click OK. And the file is saved in the directory that we chose in the Lotus 123 WK1 format. You may choose any of the formats from the list. Now we're in Lotus 123, and we've found the file that we just saved. Let's retrieve this file in Lotus. And we can see that this retrieved automatically without any conversion process, because we saved it in the 123 format. Again, you can perform the same steps in version 7, but the Save As dialog box looks a little different. Click on the arrow after the Save In box and select the icon for the hard disk, usually known as the C drive. Double-click on the folder you want to save your file in. You may have to double-click on more folders to get the one you want. Then, click on the arrow after Save File as Type and select the type of file you want to save it as. You may have to scroll down the list to find the one you want. Now, when we click on Save, our file will be converted to a Lotus for Windows file in the Lotus for Windows directory. Since this file now has a Lotus for Windows extension, you can find this file again by going into a Lotus for Windows program and clicking on the Open button. Next, we'll show how to automatically change the format and appearance of a spreadsheet. First, select the area that you want to change by clicking and dragging the mouse. Let's highlight this entire spreadsheet area. Then, in the Format menu, click on Auto Format. In the Auto Format dialog box, we have a sample of one type of format that we can choose. On the left, there's a list of different format styles. As you choose each one, you see a sample of that style. There are many variations in the list. Let's choose this one called Colorful 1 and click OK. Notice the colors are not the same. That's because it's highlighted still. When a range of cells is highlighted, the colors are reversed. White becomes black, and so forth. When you click outside to de-highlight it, then the normal colors appear. Also, there's font changes and other elements in this style. Auto formatting affects the colors and the text and number styles. Let's try a different format. Click and drag to select this area again. Then go back to Format and choose Auto Format. In the box, scroll through the list and choose a different one. Let's choose List 3. Click OK. De-highlight it by clicking anywhere else, and now we see this appearance of the spreadsheet. We can also manually create our own formats. Select the area that you want to change by highlighting by clicking and dragging. Click on Format and click on Cells. In the Format Cells dialog box, we have a choice between changing the numbers, the alignment, font, border, patterns, and protection. Let's choose Patterns. On the left, we have Cell Shading. We can change the color of the cells by clicking on any one of the colors that appear here. Let's choose this yellow. Click on it. Notice that a sample appears on the right. Then click OK. Remember that it's highlighted. We can deselect it and remove the highlight, and now we see the yellow appearance in the cells. Next, we'll show how to create our own formatting styles and save those styles to be applied in different areas of our spreadsheet. For example, we'd like to change the type style of our text here to a different color. We'd like to change it to black so it's easier to read on the screen. Then we can click in any one of these cells, or we could select all of them to create a style. Then click on Format, and click on Style. In the Style dialog box, we can choose the elements that we want to include in our style. We only want to include font, so we can deselect all of these by clicking on them. All we want to include in our style is font characteristics. In this box, we can type in a name for our style. We'll call it black type. You can give it style any name you choose. Moving to the right, we click on Modify to modify the current style. We're changing the font color. Let's click on this arrow and choose black from this list. Now we click OK. And we click Add to add this style to the list of styles. Notice in this list we have black type. Click OK, and now we've created and saved a style. Notice the change has been made in the area that we selected, just this one cell. Now let's apply the style to the rest of the worksheet. Click and drag the mouse to select the entire area. Then click on Format and click on Style. Click the style name arrow and click black type. And then click OK. Now the entire area has been changed to black type. Next, we'll show how to create your own slideshows or presentations in Microsoft Excel. To create slideshows, you need to use the slideshow template. This is found by clicking File and clicking New. However, if you have not done a complete installation of Microsoft Excel, if you've done just the typical installation, you will not see a dialog box when you click on New. In this case, we have not done the complete installation. We'll show you now how to install the slideshow template or slideshow add-in, so the slideshow template will be available. This is a little tricky, so we encourage you to watch carefully. And you may rewind, of course, and watch this again. To install the slideshow add-in, we need to exit from Microsoft Excel. The quickest way to do this is to double-click in the control box in the upper left-hand corner. You can also click File and choose Exit from the File menu. Let's double-click here. This closes Microsoft Excel and returns us to the Program Manager window. Then in the Microsoft Office window, double-click on Excel Setup. This begins the Excel Setup program. Then in this box, we need to click on Add, Remove. Now this part is very tricky, so watch carefully. In the list here, the items that have X's by them are the things that we want to keep. The things that don't have an X are things that we don't want. We want add-ins, specifically the slideshow add-in. Some add-ins have already been included, but we need to add some more. Don't click on the box now, just click on the word add-ins. If you click on the box, the X will be removed, and the setup program will assume you want to remove all of the add-ins. Just click on the word to highlight the word. Then over on the right, click on Change Option. Now, in this add-ins box, you'll notice that slideshow is not highlighted. It does not have an X. It was never added originally. Click on this one to place an X there. Then at the bottom, you'll notice Components to Add 1. We're adding one item to Excel. Then click OK. Now we need to click Continue. We're asked to insert the first setup disk. You need to find your setup disks, put in disk number 1 into drive A, or whichever drive is the drive you use on your computer. Click OK there, and setup will proceed. It copies the necessary files from the floppy disk to the hard disk. If you did a complete installation, none of this will be necessary. You will automatically have the slideshow template available. But if you did the typical installation, you will need to do this step. Now, we go back to the Program Manager screen after exiting the setup program. Start Excel again by double-clicking on the icon. Then go to the Tools menu, click on Tools, click on Add-ins. Then in this box, click on Slideshow Template, and then click OK. This brings up the slideshow template on the screen. And we could create slides now using this template. But if you choose File and New right now, you'll notice that we still don't get the dialog box where we can choose the slideshow template. In order to have that appear again, you need to close or exit Excel. This is something that's not in the manual for Excel. It's not documented anywhere. We exit Excel and then start it up again in order to have that available when you click on File and New. Now you finally get the new dialog box where you have a choice between the normal workbook template or the slides template. Of course, if you had already created other kinds of templates, they would be listed here, but slides would not until you install it. Now we have the slide template available all the time with all of the different buttons for creating slides. And now we can show how to create a slideshow. You create a slideshow by copying items from other worksheets or other programs to the clipboard and then pasting them in to this slideshow template. Let's go to the Window menu where we have some other worksheets listed that we can get images from. Click on Window and click on another worksheet. We're going to use this pie chart. Notice that it's already highlighted. Click Edit and Copy. This copies the pie chart to the clipboard. Then we click on Window and switch back to our slide screen. Then choose Paste Slide. A small copy of the image is placed here in the worksheet, and we get the Edit Slide box automatically. This gives us some choices about how the slides will transition from one to another. And you can pick any of the effects here in this list. For instance, None means the slide will instantaneously change from one to the next. For these other transitions, you'll want to try these to test their appearance. We'll show just a few in this video. Testing it is easy. Push on the test button and the transition happens. This is just a representation of the transition. Let's choose box in and box out. Moving down through the list, let's choose uncover up and test. Now let's choose cover up. You can adjust the speed of the transition, and you can choose whether to advance the slide manually by clicking the mouse, or use a timed advance by typing in a time here, 5 = 5 seconds. If you have a sound card, you may also be able to choose sounds to accompany the slides. Now let's go back and choose a different effect for this particular slide. Let's choose box in. Then we click OK. Now, in the spreadsheet, we have the slide image, the effect type, the effect speed, the slide advance time, and any sound file would be indicated here. Now let's put another slide in. Go back to the window menu and choose another document or worksheet. In this case, we're going to put the spreadsheet itself in as a slide. Highlight the spreadsheet and choose copy. Then go back to the slide worksheet and paste slide. It's pasted in as the one was previously, and we can choose our transitions. Let's choose horizontal blinds, timed 5 seconds, and click OK. Let's choose another one. We'll choose this bar chart. When it's full screen like this, all we have to do is click Edit and click Copy. Then we'll switch back to the slideshow worksheet and choose Paste Slide. We'll choose a different effect for this one. Dissolve medium blocks. This is how it appears. We'll change it to 5 seconds and click OK. Now let's try bringing in a graphic image from another program. Use Alt-Tab to switch to Microsoft Word. We have this butterfly image already highlighted. Choose Edit and Copy. Now it's been copied to the clipboard. Use Alt and Tab to switch back to Excel. And click on Paste Slide. The picture is pasted here below, and we'll choose the effects and all the other features. Let's choose Uncover Up in this case. Set our time and click OK. Now we have 4 slides in our slideshow. We can change the order of these slides by cutting, copying rows, by pasting rows, etc. To start the show, we click Start Show. And in this Start Show dialog box, we can choose which slide comes first. We can click here to have the show repeat until Escape is pressed. Let's deselect this for now and click OK. When we click OK, the slideshow begins. The screen goes blank, and then the first slide transitions in. 5 seconds later, the next slide appears. Each slide appears with the effect we selected. After 5 seconds, the next one comes up. These are all full screen, by the way, full screen images on the computer screen. And now we have the last image. And after 5 seconds, it switches back to Excel. In order to create a presentation in Excel version 7, you need to have another program called PowerPoint on your computer. This is a special Windows program that creates presentations quickly using ready-made outlines and slides. To create a PowerPoint presentation in Excel, you have to insert an embedded object, which we showed you earlier. To do this with PowerPoint, first place the cursor where you want the slideshow to be. Then click on the Insert menu and click on Object. Click on the Create New tab if it's not already selected. Then in the Object Type list, click on Microsoft PowerPoint Presentation and click OK. When you do this, this window will appear with the PowerPoint toolbar at the top. When you're finished creating a presentation, click outside the window, and the Excel menus and toolbars will return. When you want to run the slideshow, just double-click on it. If you're not familiar with the PowerPoint program, we suggest you watch the PowerPoint Intermediate video to learn how to create a presentation. Next, we'll show how to import a text file and convert it into a spreadsheet. Click on the File menu and click on Open. In the Open dialog box, locate the text file. This should be an ASCII file or a DOS text file. We'll navigate to the directory containing our file. Let's choose this one and click OK. Now, this opens the text import wizard. This is similar to other wizards in Excel. It walks you through each step of a process. In this case, the process of importing a text file and making a spreadsheet out of it. Here it has found that the original data has fixed width fields. It may show delimited if the characters are separated by commas or tabs. Below it shows a sample of the appearance of the file, a preview of how it will look as a spreadsheet. We choose Next to go to the next step. Now we're allowed to make some modifications. The items are broken up like this in columns. We have some options of creating a new break line or deleting a break line or moving a break line to separate the columns in different ways. Now we go to the next step, and in this step we can choose the column data format. General, text, date, and do not import column. In the general format, the numeric values will be converted to actual numbers, date values to dates, and all remaining values will be text. In our sample here, these characters will all be numbers. These will be numeric values, and the same here. This will be just text. Now we're finished. We click Finish, and our text file has been converted into a spreadsheet, or we might call it a database. We can change the column widths by clicking and dragging as we've done before, or do any other formatting that we'd like to do. We can use the numbers here for calculations, We can insert formulas, etc. Version 7 is similar, but the Open dialog box looks a little different. Click on this arrow under Files of Type and select Text Files. Select the file you want and click Open. Now you can follow the same steps we just showed you for the previous version. Next, we'll show how to use the graphics or drawing tools to create drawings in our worksheet. We activate the drawing toolbar by clicking on the drawing button in the standard toolbar. This opens the drawing toolbar on the screen. The drawing toolbar is in its own little floating window, and we can click on the blue title bar area to move it anywhere on the screen. Just a little tip about toolbars. You can do the same thing with any of the toolbars. The normal toolbar here at the top or this other formatting toolbar, any of these can be moved down into this area below. Likewise, this drawing toolbar can be dragged up to the top or to the bottom, where it'll become one of these elongated type toolbars. Let's try this. Click here and hold down the mouse button and drag upward. Notice the outline turns into an elongated shape. When it changes, then release it, and now it has become a normal toolbar at the top. To bring it back down, or to move any of these other ones down, you just click in any area of the toolbar that isn't a button. Clicking in any of these borderline areas, holding the mouse button down and dragging will bring it back down and change the shape so that it fits better in this part of the screen. Then releasing it brings the toolbar down. Let's try this with one of the normal toolbars. Click in any area that isn't a button and drag down. When we get down into the main part of the screen, we release the mouse button. Now the formatting toolbar is in its own little box floating above the spreadsheet. These do not become part of the spreadsheet. They're just floating windows in front of the document. You can move them around and they will not actually print when you print the spreadsheet. Let's put this one back up by dragging it back up to the top and then releasing. Let's move the drawing toolbar over to the right. Now we'll show some of the drawing tools. If you're familiar with Microsoft Word, you may recognize many of these tools. We have the line tool, the rectangle, ellipse, the arc tool, freeform, the text box, the arrow tool, the freehand tool, and then some filled shapes. Back over on the left, we have a button that you can use to create a button in the spreadsheet. A button in a spreadsheet can be used to activate a macro, for instance. This arrow is used for selecting drawings. Bring to front, send to back, group objects, ungroup objects, reshape, drop shadow, and pattern are some of the other tools. In this one, we can choose from a list of patterns or colors. We use these drawing tools by clicking on them Let's click on line and move the crosshair to this open area. We draw a line by clicking with the mouse and dragging and then releasing to place the line. Notice the line has the familiar black squares. That means it's highlighted or selected. We can also draw a rectangle in a similar way. We click with the mouse and drag and then release. We can draw a filled rectangle as well. This will be filled with the current color, which is white. We can remove any of these items by first clicking on the item to highlight it, and then press the delete key on the keyboard. That deletes that particular item. Let's also delete this rectangle. Click on the line. Now it's selected, and we press delete. Now let's draw a text box. Click on this tool, click and drag to draw the box, and we have a flashing cursor where we can type in some text. We can select this text and use the formatting tools above to format the text. Let's choose Center Align to center it in the box. We can resize the box by clicking on it and then positioning the arrow on one of these squares and clicking and dragging the mouse. We can also highlight and change other aspects of the text, such as the font style, the color, etc. Let's choose a larger size. Moving back, if the size is a little too large, we can click and drag to expand the box. We can also use the freehand tool to draw a freehand or freeform line. By clicking and dragging, this shows a pencil. And the line is selected as an entire object. To go back and move any of these objects, you click on the object and then click and drag with the mouse. If you have any experience with drawing programs in general, you may be familiar with most of these tools. Let's show a few more of the tools. To draw a macro button, let's say we wanted to place a macro button here in the spreadsheet. That can be used to activate a macro. Click here, and then click and drag to draw the button. It can be any size. Then the Assign Macro box opens. And if we had some macros already created, we could type in the name or choose from the list. Then, once we're finished with that, we can click OK. And that macro will be assigned to the button. And anytime someone clicks on that button, the macro will be performed. Or you can also record a macro at this point by clicking Record and then performing all the steps that you want to record in the macro. And then click OK when you're finished. That macro will be assigned to this button. The title of the macro will be placed in this button. Then when you click on the button with the mouse, the macro that's assigned will be performed. We can also draw perfect circles by holding down the Shift key and clicking on the ellipse tool and drawing by clicking and dragging. Normally, the ellipse tool will create any size or shape of ellipse. The same is true with the rectangle tool. You can draw a rectangle of any size or shape. But to draw a perfect square, all you have to do is hold down the Shift key and then draw the rectangle. This will only draw a square. For the line tool, holding down the Shift key will allow us to draw only certain angles of lines. When we hold down the Shift key and draw a line, we can only draw a vertical line, a 45-degree angle line, or a horizontal line in any direction. When you're finished drawing it, you release the mouse button and then release the Shift key. Now we have a perfect 45-degree angle line. Next, we'll show how to use some advanced charting features, such as combination charts, adding a secondary axis, adding a trend line, adding error bars, or creating a picture chart. To create a combination chart from an existing chart, first we select one series of the data, or one area. Let's choose the April area, which is this area at the top. The legend shows the color. We just click on that area to highlight it. Then we go to the little chart toolbar and click on the arrow for chart type. Because we selected one series of the data, this chart type will only affect that one series. Let's choose the column chart. Now, moving back to the chart, we can see that the April data are in columns, whereas the others are in the other type of chart, the area chart. To change the entire chart to some other type of chart, of course, make sure nothing is selected individually, and then go back to the Chart Type button. Click on the list and choose a chart type from the list. The one that's already selected is shown in the button, and you can just click on that to create that type of chart. If we just click here, we can change the entire chart to a column chart. It changed everything because no one series of the data was selected. To make a combination chart, you have to select one series of the data. To add a secondary axis, we again select one series of data. Let's choose April again. This selects all of the April columns, as we can see by the color here. Then, go to the Format menu. Click on Format, and click on Selected Data Series. Then, in this dialog box, click on the Axis tab. And then choose Secondary Axis. As we can see in the sample chart below, the data for the selected data series will be moved to the front, and it will be plotted on a different axis on the right side. Let's click OK and see how this looks in the chart. Now the chart has been converted. The April data is in front, and it's plotted on its own axis on the right. depending on the values in this data series. You may have different values on the right than you have on the left. The values on the right apply to the data series that's in front. This is like an overlay. We can convert this back by deselecting and clicking on the currently selected chart type to convert it back to the original chart type. We can add a trend line to a data series in a similar way. Let's choose the April data series again by clicking on any of the April columns. Then, in the Insert menu, click on Trend Line. And we get a trend line dialog box where we can choose different types of trend or regression lines. And the little pictures show representations of the different types of lines: linear, logarithmic, polynomial, power, exponential, and moving average. Let's choose linear and click OK. And a linear type of line has been added to our chart. This coincides with the April data. And an additional item has been added to the legend. Let's expand so we can see the rest of the legend. Linear for April is listed here. To change to a different type of trend line, just go back and click on the current trend line. It's highlighted with the familiar black squares at the end. Go back and click Insert and Trend Line and choose one of the other types. Let's choose Moving Average. We can also choose the period that is averaged, whether it's across 2 or more periods. You can change that amount here. Click OK. We have an item added to the legend, and we have the moving average line plotted here and shown in the legend also. Whenever the trend line is selected and highlighted like this, we can remove it by hitting the delete key on the keyboard, and it disappears. Now we'll show how to insert error bars. Let's select our April data series again. Click on Insert and click on Error Bars. Then we get a box where we can choose different types of error bars. We can choose both, plus and minus, just plus, just minus, or none. Also, we can change the error amount with a fixed value, a percentage, standard deviation, standard error, or some other custom plus or minus amount. We'll leave it at the default settings and then click OK. Now we have the error bars in the chart attached to the April data columns, indicating the values plus or minus for each of the April data columns. These are still highlighted, and clicking anywhere else will de-highlight them, and we can see the actual appearance of the error bars. Selecting them again, we can remove them by hitting delete on the keyboard. Finally, we'll show how to create a picture chart. In a picture chart, we use pictures instead of columns or bars or lines to represent the data in the chart. We've gone to a different chart to show the pictures a little bit better. There are two ways to do this. One way is to switch to another program, such as Microsoft Word, and copy a graphic image out of that program by highlighting it and choosing Copy from the Edit menu to place it on the clipboard. We use Alt-Tab to switch back to Microsoft Excel. Then in Excel, we highlight the data series where we want the graphic to be placed. Let's highlight March. Then in the Edit menu, we choose Paste. And the picture is pasted in where the data columns were. The picture has been elongated or stretched to fit each data column. We can change from a stretched image to a stacked image. Make sure it's still selected and choose Selected Data Series from the Format menu. Then click on Patterns, and instead of Stretch, choose Stack. Then click OK. Now we have the little pictures stacked to the height of the data columns. The other way to create a picture chart is by inserting a picture directly from the disk. Click on a data series first. This time, go to the Insert menu, click on Insert, and then click on Picture. Now, in the Picture dialog box, we can navigate our way to a directory that contains clip art or other images. Let's scroll down through this list to find the same pharmacy picture that we used previously. Click on the picture name and then click OK. Now we have the same effect. The image is placed and stretched to the size of the data columns. We go to Format and select a data series to change to Stack. We can also choose Stack and Scale to control how many units per picture there are in the chart. Click OK. Notice that in the legend, we have a tiny representation of the picture by the data series. If we made this larger, you would be able to see this better. We can get a closer look at this by using the View menu. Click on View and click Zoom and choose a larger size. Currently it's the custom 53%. Let's choose 100%. Now we have an expanded view of our chart. Let's scroll over and we can see now a little bit better the picture in the legend. Next, we'll show how to create a custom toolbar. The default in Microsoft Excel version 5 is the Standard toolbar and the Formatting toolbar. You may add other toolbars as we did with the Drawing toolbar. Click on View and Toolbars. Each of the toolbars is featured in this list. Clicking in a box will make that toolbar appear. We can customize toolbars also by adding new buttons to them. Let's add a button to the standard toolbar. Choose Customize. Then in the Customize dialog box, we have a list of categories of buttons. Here we have the File buttons. We can click on any one of these buttons, and below we'll see a description of that button. For example, click on this one, and we see the description here. Clicking on the next one, this is the Save Changes button, this is the Print button, and so forth. To add any of these buttons to our current toolbars, we just click on the button, as it says above. We just drag the button onto any toolbar. For instance, this button, which creates new chart in default format, click on the button and drag to the toolbar, and then release it. Now it has become a part of the toolbar. Notice over on the right, the other buttons have been moved over. You can remove buttons from a toolbar while the Customize box is open by clicking on the button and dragging it down, and then releasing. The button is then removed from the toolbar. There are many different categories of buttons. These are the Edit buttons, cut, copy, and paste, for instance. Undo and the Repeat button. These are the Formula buttons for different formulas or different parts of formulas. We can add these elements automatically. Formatting buttons, text formatting. These are normally up here in the formatting toolbar. We have the drawing buttons, macros, charting, and so on. Any of these buttons can be placed in any toolbar. When we're finished dragging buttons to the toolbar, we click Close.
The video you just watched contains advanced features. Quickstudy videos are also available at the beginning, intermediate, and advanced levels for Windows, Microsoft Word, Excel, DOS, Lotus, WordPerfect, and Windows 95. We also offer tapes on Microsoft Works, Quicken, PowerPoint, the Internet, and a number of other programs. The flyer that came in the box with your tapes tells you how to order, and ordering information is also printed on the back page of your keystroke sheet. In 2 hours or less per video, you can learn dozens of powerful time-saving skills. Sometimes a single feature can save you hundreds of hours of labor. We ship all orders the day we receive them. You'll get your tapes in 7 to 10 working days. See our flyer for ordering information or call 1-800-828-8700.